All right, North Carolina, Pittsburgh. North Kakalaki, 7.5-point road favorites, 50. I mean, Pitt is just horrendous. That's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, so much for the Phil Jurkovec experiment, man. I mean, just absolutely not good at all from the Pittsburgh offense. Shut down by the last two opponents, Cincinnati and, of course, West Virginia last week. And now they got to play a North Carolina team that I think defensively has certainly made strides forward this year, no question. They get a nice 31-13 win against Minnesota. And I was on North Carolina last week laying the points. I said, their defense is at least a little bit better. It's not the absolute sieve that it was last year and 2 years ago. Not to mention, I didn't think much of Minnesota's offense. Even North Carolina, I said, could shut them down. Kaliak Manis hasn't done much at all for the Minnesota offense. And sure enough, they ended up winning that game comfortably. I look at Pittsburgh as a very limited offense right now, and the kind of offense North Carolina is still going to have their issues when they play like really good quarterbacks, really explosive offenses. They're still, I think, going to have more issues defensively there. But North Carolina has come a long way to the point where at least when they face a below-average offensive football team, they can get the job done, like they did against South Carolina, like they did against Minnesota last week. So I agree with the move. I thought below a touchdown was actually pretty cheap to lay it with North Carolina on the road. I mean, Pitt's not a team I'm looking at back right now. But now it's 7.5. I might at least pause a little bit before taking North Carolina. I don't want Pitt, though. I'll tell you that. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, when it was 6.5, it seemed a little bit cheap. I mean, can you get worse than 6 points to West Virginia? Jurkovec, 3 picks, 81 yards. I don't know. And this seems like you mentioned the step up. That's where we're going to see North Carolina. But in a game like this, we're a team that's not good offensively. And last week, they took it to Minnesota handily, and that total went way up. I took the under. It kept going up, and ended up staying under, thank God, in the second half. I'd have to be on North Carolina as well. I've seen enough on their defense that I think a game like this they can win, even though I'm not going crazy to lay it over a touchdown. And they, in the last few years, Pitt, they took care of Pitt. 8-4 ATS the last 12 years. I think they get another one here. It's just you want to lay it.
Yeah, exactly. That ends up being the question. Do you want to lay a number north of a touchdown now? When
their defense would have to keep them in the game, Pitt. Like, I don't think they get into a shootout here at all. They don't want to do that. Go up
and look, and that's the concern about that element to this matchup. You faced Wofford, Cincinnati, and West Virginia's offense in the first 3 games. And North Carolina crushes those teams as far as offense goes. I mean, this is by far the best offense that Pitt's defense under Narduzzi has played this year.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the concern about the defense doing enough to keep them in the game. I'm not sure that's going to happen with this North Carolina offense, Drake May, and the explosiveness they have coming into town.